out there. Welcome to Life After Divorce Coaching. I'm Jeff Wilson, your co-host, and I'm here with my co-host, Doreen Yaffa. And today we're going to be talking about a fresh start effect and how it relates to your divorce. So if you're ready for episode 181, let's get started. Hello, Doreen.
Hey.
How are you?
Good.
What's going on?
What's going on? Well, I just got back from visiting Megan.
How was that?
It was great.
Auburn, beautiful Auburn.
Yeah, she's in her second year of vet school, and I went over to see her, and they had like a vet open house. So got to see all the classrooms and some stuff that was kind of, interesting.
Unique.
Yeah, like the
Doctor stuff.
Inside of a cow's the intestines.
Okay.
And a dissected, not dissected, but an open cat.
Okay.
Yeah, that they donate, I guess, and a lot of her classmates.
Mm-hmm.
So that was nice. And then we watched the Auburn,
Florida
game.
Go Gators, I'm sorry.
I know, but we were there in Auburn. Anyhow, good. Shout out to them for making
it that far.
Final Four, basketball, men's basketball, and of course, shout out to Florida for winning.
Yeah.
Last night, that was fun. And then, of course, we just got back from Italy.
That was an amazing trip.
Yeah.
Loved Florence.
It's always interesting when, at least for me, when you go on vacation, especially when you go out of the country and you explore other cultures, other societies, other ways of doing things. I don't know, it gives you a new perspective when you come home. What do you think?
Well, I think that seeing not necessarily just the different cultures, different electronics, different cars, different way of life, but I think it
different
does.
Cars.
Oh yeah, I had to fit into those things.
Okay.
It wasn't that easy.
You say so.
But you do have a newfound appreciation of how lucky we have it, how great we have it here.
I love America. I love the USA.
USA.
I mean, it's so nice to go, and we have such a great time with our friends over in Italy, but I just think we're so fortunate living here.
And I love history. And the history of Florence was just amazing.
Florence is amazing.
It was so beautiful.
Of all the cities that we've traveled to in Italy, and we've been to quite a few, it ranks up there for me as one of the nicest cities. So clean, people are so engaging, and of course the food.
Yeah, the history, the food. It was just one of the most spotless cities I've ever seen.
Yeah, and the shopping was fun.
The shopping was fun.
So what else?
That's about it.
Yeah.
Well, I came back with a nasty bout of pneumonia.
Yeah,
but gotten over it, and so if I cough a little bit during the show, I forgive me, please.
No, we will not forgive you. Of course we'll forgive you. But you do sound a lot better, so.
I feel a lot better.
I'm glad you're feeling better.
My nurses here at home is great.
Yeah, I know. She also charges a lot.
Yeah, but she's worth it.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, so let's talk about
the fresh start effect.
Yeah, Samantha, actually, our youngest, she kind of turned me on to Mel Robbins. I already read some of Mel Robbins' books. Mm-hmm. The High Five, I forgot what it's called, but anyhow, and I've listened to her podcast, but she reminded me how great she is. And I think a lot of her thoughts, a lot of the way she coaches, and she was an attorney, are similar to what we do, or the way we think about things. I also like her presentation, her vibe. And her first episode talked about the fresh start effect, which is not hers. She did her own research, and it basically is, how do we say, it's that feeling that you get when, for example, let's say it's your birthday, mm-hmm. and you blow out those candles, right? And it's like, ooh, that year's done. Here's a new fresh year, a new age, and a new possibility. And same thing at New Year's, how we do the countdown, and then everybody has their New Year's resolutions, and you feel like, okay, well, next year,
right?
All these amazing things. So.
You had given an example here that I really liked it. It was like a fresh start to a football season. It's like this year the Dolphins are going to do better, and there's a fresh start you're looking for with even in sports teams.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a new year, a new season,
The
right?
new season is beginning.
Okay. So let's talk about like divorce and provide some insight on that because we both went through our own divorces. Of course, I'm a divorce attorney, but we went through our own divorces, and I wanted to also maybe weave in some of our personal experiences with this fresh
Absolutely.
start effect.
That's what the podcast is all about,
Right?
deep and personal.
Yeah. But, I don't even know that I realized at that time, seems like a million years ago, when I was going through my divorce about this theory of the fresh start effect and how divorce could be seen as that as well, right?
Right.
Because it really is a fresh start, right? So just like a birthday, a new job, New Year's, all these things, I think that divorce is a perfect platform for sparking this. What do you think?
Well, I think, unfortunately, people don't see divorce in that same light as a birthday or something happy, but when you bring it to people's attention, as we are doing now at this podcast,
Right.
I think it's a great way to look at divorce as a opportunity to have that fresh start and fresh beginning in your life, because now you have the chance to paint and create what you want for your life.
Right. Well, yeah, but there's also a place. Why are you laughing?
Because there was two butts there.
But there's also that, there's a time, I think, because it's not happy, right?
Right.
Obviously, divorce is not something we go into a marriage saying, oh, I can't wait till I'm going to be divorced. But I think we have to also realize that if, let's just say, on average, 50% of all marriages end in divorce, it's kind of something that the odds are there. I mean, I don't want to, it's something people don't like to talk about, but it's there. I mean, there's a possibility marriages have a lifespan. We don't want to say that they're failed. We want to look at it as they have a lifespan, right? Because there's a lot of good things that come out of marriage,
There's a purpose, yes.
even if it ends in divorce. Right. But I think there's a place for mourning it, like the sadness and the loss of the marriage and the divorce. And then it's like, okay, enough bullshit. Enough. Tomorrow, gotta put on that happy face, get up and get going. I'm sorry, but it's true.
Well, I know, especially coming from Miss Yaffa. I know you're that way.
I have no patience for it. My team is well aware of it today.
Right.
I am on a tyrant, as they say. No, I just think like there's a place for that. You have to grieve the divorce, right? Because we don't want people to buffer past their feelings. You want to explain what that means?
Well, in other words, you can get into a low and take it out with food, or you can take it out with alcohol.
You don't take it out.
You're.
Come on, coach.
Well, I'm not saying you're taking it out on, but you could turn to.
Because?
It masks your true emotions.
Well, right, because when you're not feeling good, when you're not in a good space, a lot of times you buffer. What we mean by that, and if you look back at our episodes, we've discussed it before, is that you use some false pleasure, such as food, alcohol, pornography,
gambling, it could be many things.
Shopping, surfing the net, getting stuck in social media. That's a way of escaping a negative feeling to basically bypass it with some quick dopamine hit.
Right.
That's why sugar, for example, is so powerful, because it is a false dopamine hit. Your body physically reacts with like, oh, I really like this. Let me have another bite of that cookie.
Remember that chocolate egg in Florence that was about this?
Yeah, it's like anybody that ate that would have been like on a sugar high for a month until you crashed. But no, the point being that you wanna definitely acknowledge that you're going through a hard time, right? And be kind to yourself. And more than that, like let your feelings, understand your feelings, let it flow through you, whatever it is, and then get to a point where it's like, okay, today is my fresh start effect day. right? Today
That's a great way
is
of
the
looking at
day that I'm going to start to make a change. I'm going to start to get past this. I'm going to start to get over this. Look, I don't know of anyone, and I've been doing this divorce stuff for 31 years now, meaning a lawyer. I don't know anyone that hasn't, and I've been through with clients through some really horrific divorces with a lot of issues, sad issues, where they haven't got past it and moved on with their life, right? They do. Some do it very consciously, meaning they have a plan, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to help you to get to from where you are today to where you want to be and past and feeling better sooner than later. That's what we do in our coaching, right? So the fresh start effect is about that.
Well, in my case, if I could talk about my divorce for a second, I didn't have any grieving at all. It was more of an anger effect where I just knew that as soon as I got out of this divorce, my life was going to have that fresh start. And I was so looking forward to that, So I didn't have a grieving period, but I did know that once I got past that divorce and everything I had to go through to get divorced, it was going to be an amazing life ahead of me. It's like Mel Robbins said in her podcast, that's why the rear view mirror is so much smaller than the windshield in a car, because the windshield represents all you can see, your future, where the rear view mirror is tiny and represents your past.
Right.
What happened? Right, yeah. So looking back now on it, once I got the divorce, that fresh start effect kicked in immediately.
Right. Well, and I think you have to look at it also. The fresh start effect is so powerful. Researchers, when we were getting ready for this, they called it temporal landmarks, right?
Yes.
So a temporal landmark is a date or an experience or a physical thing that marks the passing of time, right? So like we were talking about birthdays, New Year's, divorce, it's a physical thing, meaning it will have a beginning and an end.
Right.
And then, that's the physical part of it. You can identify that as a date or dates. But then there's the psychological effect of it, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, the landmarks in your life, like having children, mark new beginnings. It could be the passing of parents. I mean, there's a lot of big landmarks in our life that we can use as those moments to catalyst a fresh beginning.
Well, yeah, and like your life as a couple before and now your life as a single person after the divorce, after the breakup, just like a birthday, a new year, a Monday, even like a Monday, like starting a fresh, week. And yes, a divorce, it creates that break for you, that passage from one life or one moment into another. So what is nice is that you can recognize this and then you can, it can open up the floodgates of what's possible for your new life. That fresh feeling?
Yes.
So all the possibilities of that fresh start that are ahead of you. And it's something when you can set aside the emotions that are negative about the divorce and you can start focusing gently. Some of you just need to take a little more time than others, that it might be more ready to move into it. The positive things about it. Right? Which is like basically, now I have this fresh slate, this new person that I am as now being a single person, maybe a single parent, right? And what that's going to look like.
And I know you had some moments where you all of a sudden, wow, I am going to be okay. I am going to make it. I am going to, I am going to thrive.
Right.
Where are those kind of aha moments that you had?
Well, for me,
Yeah.
I remember waking up on a Sunday I remember specifically that it was a Sunday. Don't ask me why.
Why you woke up?
No, I remember waking up.
Okay.
And I know it wasn't a work day, and I remember it was a chill day, and I was alone, obviously. Well, not obviously. But I was alone, and I thought to myself, I didn't think about my ex or the divorce at all yesterday. I went through an entire day of not having it come into my thoughts.
You're not even realizing it until then.
Until the next morning. And I was like, wow, how proud am I of myself?
That's awesome.
Right.
How'd that make you feel?
How did it make me feel?
Yes.
Horrible.
Well, no, I meant there are doubters out there that say, God, am I ever going to get over this? Am I ever going to feel good again? Am I ever going to be myself again?
Right.
And that would probably be one of my first feelings, that when I had this, wow, I didn't think about my spouse for the whole day yesterday. I didn't think about the divorce. And it's true. I am going to be okay.
Right.
I am going to be all right. I believe now.
Right.
And that could be the fresh start of the fresh start.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That could be that landmark. But I think also, don't wait for that day. Don't wait for that Sunday morning when you wake up and you realize you haven't thought about the divorce or your ex for a whole day. I think that we all have the power to use this fresh start effect, the divorce, as the catalyst to push us to just do it, right? Just decide that this moment, today, as we listen or speak to each other on this podcast, is the day that you can just accept the divorce, not that you have to agree with it, but accept that it happened or it's happening, and now just, okay, this is the way it is. I'm gonna be okay. I've mourned through, whatever these feelings are, and I'm ready to start feeling better, right? And I can use this divorce as that catalyst to create this new, I see it as like a canvas. I see it like as this canvas that is just blank. Well, you paint, you're an artist.
Yes.
So just a blank canvas that you now can go ahead and start sketching first, because artists usually sketch out first. Many times they're designed depending on what type of art they do.
Yes.
Start sketching out what you want your new life to look like.
And then go for it. Start painting. One brush stroke at a time.
That's the invitation we're giving you.
Yeah.
That's the invitation that we want to suggest to you. That's the invitation that we want you to be kind to yourself and give yourself the permission to discover, right?
It's like when you blow out the candles in a birthday cake.
Yeah, it's like, and then it's like you release
make that wish.
Yeah, and you make that wish, and that's what it can be.
Right.
Do you remember when you started to feel better?
I did. It's kind of a sad moment for when I play it back for you, but for me it was probably the most exciting moment. There was an afternoon when Spencer and I were coming home, and my ex was driving away in the U-Haul. And we both looked at each other and said, she's gone. And that's when we had that moment of yay, but then a moment of uncertainty for him and future power for me, that I knew that was my landmark. That was my landmark.
He was so young, though. I mean, how could he have that thought?
No, I had the thought.
Oh, okay.
I had the thought.
Yeah, because he was only what?
5.
Yeah.
He was 5.
Yeah, so he couldn't be like, yay, mommy's leaving, hopefully.
No, not necessarily.
That might have been your thought about what he might have been thinking, but no.
No, I didn't think that at all.
Okay.
And we had our moment, and we said everything's going to be okay, and he knew everything was going to be okay.
Did you literally see the truck and?
Yes, we were pulling up as she was pulling out.
That must have been weird, maybe awkward even.
It was almost like a forced period at the end of a sentence.
Yeah, like an exclamation point.
more like an exclamation point at the end of a sentence. But it almost forced us to have that landmark.
Yeah.
So we looked at each other and we said, we didn't say this directly, but we said it in our eyes that this is our new beginning. This was our landmark of our fresh start, and how we were going to handle it from that point on was up to me and up to him.
Did you talk to him about it?
I did.
What? Yeah, I was just thinking, I mean, it isn't part of what we wrote out for today's episode, but I was just thinking about, it's not just about, when I was thinking about the Sunday morning when I woke up and I was like, oh, I haven't thought about this for a whole day.
Right.
I was also thinking, like, I think life is going to be okay. The kids are going to be okay.
Right.
Right? But maybe it's something to explore with the kids too, is like this whole concept of the fresh start effect for them.
Wow. Yeah.
I didn't even
I think it's a whole nother podcast.
Could be, like, really just talking, and depending on the age of the child, maybe they can relate it to a birthday, blowing out the candles, or New Year's, or finishing high school, or
new school year.
New school
get better
year.
grades this year.
It doesn't mean that you don't respect the previous year or the previous semester or whatever it is, but that you just are moving into that, oh, okay, well, now I have a new thing, a new start.
Right.
So I think that's really good. So let's talk about a few things. So the first thing is we want to talk about, which we already did, about giving up the stuff that's weighing you down, right? A few things you can do, all rooted in research, to start to move towards, getting past a divorce. Like I've seen 1,000 people throughout my career pick themselves up and create a life that they're thrilled with, that they're proud of. Not 100%, because life is a balance of
good and bad.
Right. So we're going to trade the divorce, which was a bad circumstance. We're going to pick ourselves up. We're going to dust ourselves off. We're going to say no more of this shit. And we're going to move forward to a better life and create this life. But we also are doing that acknowledging that life is still going to be a balance of good and bad, right? It's not going to be perfect. And I think that's another episode, of course, that we've done throughout. I think we're on like 100. What did you say?
181.
181. I was going to say
181
plus. But okay.
Thanks to our listeners out there.
Yes, exactly. And so the first thing is that, right? And then also to be proud of yourself. Mm-hmm. Somebody reminded me in my office today to celebrate the wins, right? We want to always celebrate the wins. So just waking up and feeling better, learning to move past this, appreciating that you went through the negative feelings, appreciating that, you're okay right now, right? When you really think about it, like most of you, hopefully, that are listening, you're okay. Like, you're listening to this podcast, you've got a roof over your head, hopefully you had food today, you're feeling good, like physically you're okay.
Health.
Your health is there, your kids are okay. So, now we got to say, what can we do to help you to move forward? So let's move into some thoughts or some simple ways, things that can help you to start to use this fresh start effect.
Okay.
So the first thing is self-awareness, right? Just recognizing that you are where you are and how you feel, even if you feel like crap. Right? We talked about that. So just letting and giving yourself the permission to feel it. And then you might even want to name it. This is how I feel today about the divorce. Not so good. Okay. Or maybe I'm starting to feel okay.
And then when you were talking earlier about the 50-50, life is always going to be 50-50, good and bad.
Right.
When you have your new fresh start effect, you're going to have new, fresh negatives. New, fresh, bad things happen to you that don't really relate to the divorce. So you want to kind of, you could almost be excited about your new bad things.
Yeah, and be aware that when things happen, I think a lot of time when bad things happen after divorce, a lot of times people might get stuck in that, well, that's because of the divorce. But is it really? Or is it just really life?
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I meant by new bad things.
Yeah, new bad
You know,
things.
that had nothing to do with the
What's-
divorce.
What's the second one?
Number 2 is move your body.
Move your body.
Get
We're
moving.
gonna do that next episode, which is about using the divorce to motivate yourself physically. So it's gonna be health related, exercise related. But
Yeah, even if it's getting up and just taking a shower, moving around a little bit about the house, try to get into a healthier place and a healthier mindset.
well, action creates movement, and movement creates, a step towards a better tomorrow. Have you ever? We were talking about this earlier. Have you ever gone and worked out, even when you didn't want to, on
Yes.
your worst days? And even when you just did a little bit of a workout, maybe you were kind of critical about it, to yourself.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel bad coming back? I mean, I might have felt
A little bit of guilty,
Like,
but
I
never
could've
felt
done better.
better. Never felt worse.
Right. So, get up and move, right?
But look at the word motivation. It's the motive to take action. That's where the word motivation comes from. So if you take action, sometimes first, the motive will follow you.
True that.
Yeah.
True that.
And you know what also they say is the heaviest weight?
Who's they?
What is the heaviest weight in the gym?
You always tell me this.
Do you remember?
No.
The front door. Sometimes just getting in is the hardest part.
Absolutely. We'll talk more about that next episode.
Next episode.
The third thing I want, and this again is not mine, but it came from Mel, Robbins, is do one, but it's also research, is do one thing today to make yourself happy. She talks in her episode about buying herself flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Go buy yourself some freaking flowers. Put them up around your house in different areas. And, you can't help but look at a pretty arrangement of flowers, or even just one single flower and just smile or feel happy, right?
Yeah.
Do something that makes you feel happy. You deserve it. Give yourself permission to do that. It doesn't always have to be buying something.
That could be something small, like putting a great comic on Netflix, or
Right.
reading a good book.
I was going
or
to say
something.
starting a new book.
Yeah.
Or maybe making yourself a nice dinner.
A nature walk.
And you'll get up and
Go
move
on
your
the walk, take a
body.
nice walk on the beach if you live in sunny Florida like we do.
Yeah.
Well, not so sunny today.
But, let's recap.
Recap?
Wasn't that horrible? I don't know what that Recap. Let's recap.
Let's recap.
So the recap is each morning just wake up and take one action, one step, do something that is what you want to be, meaning where you want to go, right? So you have to know where you're going in order to get there.
Yeah, just like a map.
Right? If you just put your directives on in your car, but you don't put the destination in, you're probably not going to get much response from technology. It's just going to tell you, hey, put in the location you want to go to. So take a little step. Take the little step to say, oh, I want to, and then clarify what that looks like. I love journaling, so write it down. I would really recommend that, and just take one little step towards that. We're going to talk about that in the next episode. So let's say it is that you want to lose 10 pounds, right? So one step that you might think about is, oh, I want to start an exercise plan. Okay, so the step today could be as simple as, hey, I'm going to check out 3 different gyms or 3 different programs, right? Just that one step towards what you want. Just keep that step going, and just one step at a time, you'll start to get there.
And maybe look for a fresh start effect buddy, so that share your goals, share your dreams, share your desires, and how you're feeling with a great friend or a relative, so that they can maybe hold you a little bit accountable. Let's say that you're going to take a walk together, or read share with a book what you're
Like
reading.
a book club or something.
A book
like
club
that,
or something
right?
like that. It kind of, when you get involved with other people, it kind of
Well, I think
holds you accountable.
Holds you
Little
accountable.
support group.
I think also, with this fresh start effect, it would be cool to have maybe there's groups of, people going through divorce like you, maybe we should start our own.
Oh,
where, it's all about helping each other to move on. I think that's a great idea as well.
It is.
So,
Great idea.
okay. What else, my dear? My
No,
love.
that's about it.
Love of
Just
my life.
But great recap.
Great recap.
Recap.
Yes, okay. I don't know where that came from. It just kind of spilled out.
Well,
Anyhow.
anyway, it was a great episode. I really like the fresh start effect. And I really I didn't think about it until you said it, that it could be every Monday morning. Every
Right.
Monday morning, every time you wake up, it could be a fresh start.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
Till then, have a good one, everybody.
All right. Have an amazing rest of the week, and thank you for joining us here at Life After Divorce Coaching. Listen, if you have any comments or you want to speak to us, just give us a shout out. Where should they reach us?
Reach us at lad-coaching.com.
Is that it still?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And
Yes.
what happens when they get there?
They can go to info and type
Email us, right?
Email us, yes.
And are you still doing complimentary coaching sessions?
I am.
You are?
I am.
Ooh. Well, come take us up on a complimentary session, see how we might help you.
And love your comments and feedbacks about the podcast.
Absolutely. Give us a shout out. It would really be appreciated. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Don't forget to follow us on social media for more empowering content, tips, and inspiration to help you thrive after divorce. And if you're ready to take the next step in your journey, don't miss out on our free 30-minute coaching session. It's a great opportunity to get personalized guidance and support for wherever you are in your divorce journey. Just visit the link in our description to book your appointment.